Welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Grant Olson is away this week. I'm Jefferson Robbins. This is Tuesday, July 25th, better known as the night I finally get to go see Oppenheimer. So let's get tonight's news out of the way so I can make it down to the movie theater. Here's some of our top stories that we're following this evening. Okanogan County is officially in a state of drought. The Department of Ecology added the northern NCW County to its list of 12 that are affected as mountain water supplies continue to dry out. The emergency dispatch agency RiverCom thought it might have a new place to live at the Confluence Technology Center. Now it turns out that location has been axed because of earthquake considerations. Cloudy and much cooler in the Wenatchee Valley today, and that was a welcome relief. High temperatures stayed well below yesterday's average, and there were some pleasant breezes keeping things comfortable. Dan Kuntz, who normally plays the host of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, will instead play weatherman later on in this half hour to bring you your complete forecast. Tonight, our top story. A former Wenatchee school teacher pleaded guilty this morning to a sex offense against a minor, just as his trial for a more serious felony was about to begin. The jury had nearly been picked when 62-year-old Joe Vincent Ells of East Wenatchee entered a plea in Chelan County Court to one count of communicating with a minor for immoral purposes. Ells admitted kissing the child victim, who was the daughter of a friend, when she was roughly 7 years old. He was originally charged with child molestation and took the plea to avoid trial on the more serious charge. He now faces a possible 6-month jail term when he's sentenced by Judge Travis Brandt next month. Okanogan County is one of 12 counties affected by a drought emergency declared by the Washington Department of Ecology. The agency says the declaration comes after early snowmelt, a lack of spring rain, and low stream flows occurred in those counties. A drought is declared in Washington state when there is 75% of normal water supply and a risk of undue hardship, and it allows the Ecology Department to manage emergency water rights. May and June of this year ranked as the 4th warmest and 11th driest such period since 1895. In June, Washington received only 49% of its usual rainfall. Outside of those counties in the drought declaration, the rest of the state remains under a less severe drought advisory issued by Ecology earlier this month. While the mayor of Entiat will withdraw from his campaign for re-election, Mayor Mike Buckingham says he's dealing with physical issues that need his attention. And despite filing to run again, he will finish out his single term at the end of this year. That leaves his declared opponent, Entiat Chamber of Commerce Chair Renee Swearingen, as the only candidate to head up the Riverside city of about 1,400 people. Their race doesn't appear on the current primary ballot. That election will be decided in November. The next mayor will have to help steer Entiat's proposal to build a new city hall and community center, among other projects. A Brewster man was acquitted on all counts of domestic violence Friday by a Douglas County jury. Victor Alejandre Mejia was arrested in 2021 and charged with 5 felony counts, including 2nd and 3rd degree assault and interfering with the reporting of the incident. Douglas County Sheriff's deputies accused Mejia of striking and choking his partner and taking her phone when she tried to call police. But after 3 days of trial, the jury found Mejia not guilty on all counts after just 1 hour of deliberation. But when we come back, a semi-truck on fire leads to a wildfire and a major traffic snarl on central Washington's major interstate. And some favorite dining spots in the Wenatchee Valley are kept afloat with another round of COVID-19 assistance grants. I'm Jefferson Robbins. We're at Oppenheimer -20, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese splints, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
So, how's Evan?
Well, he's all grown up now, but I worry about him.
So many dangers in the world. COVID, the environment, the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, I hear opioid misuse is on the rise.
I don't even know how to start a conversation with him.
This might help. Get the facts, rx.com. There's a whole section on how to talk about opioids with your family.
Offer support, not judgment. Cool.
Talk to your family about the dangers of opioids. Visit getthefactsrx.com.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. The Wenatchee Valley's 911 agency, the folks who send fire, ambulance, and police in case of emergency, has been looking for a new home. But apparently will have to look a little bit harder. RiverCom had considered the Confluence Technology Center in North Wenatchee as a possible new headquarters. But last week, RiverCom board members learned that the building cannot be retrofitted to appropriate earthquake resistance standards. Buildings that host essential services like emergency dispatch have to meet high design standards to ride out a major quake. Board Chair Tiffany Gehring said RiverCom is still exploring other possible locations. Well, a semi-truck that caught fire sparked a blaze alongside Interstate 90 on Monday, forcing a traffic shutdown on a 20-mile stretch of the busy highway. The State Department of Transportation says the semi broke down and caught fire about 2:30 p.m. The driver was injured and transported to medical care. The fire spread into nearby brush and closed the interstate between milepost 115 and 136, west of the Vantage Bridge. Traffic was allowed to resume after the fire was brought under control about 7:45 p.m. 31 Chelan County small businesses have received grant funding to help them with pandemic recovery. The Washington State Department of Commerce dispersed over $79 million to businesses like hotels and restaurants in 37 counties through the Washington Hospitality Grant Program. In Chelan County, recipients include the Red Lion Hotel in Wenatchee, Walkabout Grill in both Wenatchee and Leavenworth, and the Harmony Meadows Tennis Resort in Manson. Amounts range from about $1,000 to over $155,000 to aid in any continuing operational challenges from the pandemic. Commerce awarded a grant to every eligible business that applied. Well, one of Wenatchee's hotel properties is up for sale. The La Quinta Inn and Suites on North Wenatchee Avenue is looking for a buyer with an estimated $6.5 million price tag. The 65-room hotel has been owned since 2007 by Hospitality Associates of Spokane Valley. A sale may already be close. However, the seller says the La Quinta franchise name itself will not be available to any buyer. A new owner will have to operate the hotel independently or find another franchise affiliation to put its name on the business. Well, coming up next, the trailheads for the Enchantment Lakes are among the most popular tourism draws in our area. But now Chelan County officials say traffic to those trails is creating a challenge for police and rescue agencies. And Dan Kuntz will be along with a weather forecast to take you through the week. The forecast for me in particular, cloudy with a chance of Oppenheimer. More from us just ahead on the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat. Poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
Are you caught in a conflict with a family member, in the workplace, or with a neighbor or business? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on topics like conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us at 509-888-0957 or www.wvdrc.org to learn more.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Chelan County Commissioners today signed a letter to Kristen Bale, the supervisor of the Okanogan National Forest, asking to work toward a solution for crowded trailheads in the enchantments. Parking access for hikers trying to reach the high alpine lakes, and Kolchak Lake in particular, have become clotted in recent summers. Chelan County rescue agencies were sent to help 27 backcountry hiking parties last year alone, with 4 fatalities. The crowded parking areas sometimes limit emergency vehicle access as well. The county's letter seeks to build a working group to address the challenge.
We did co-author a letter in support of looking at the Kolchak trailhead parking area and the, like you say, the loving it to death idea and the excessive parking going on outside of the trailhead. Once the trailhead parking lot is full, then that just spills out onto the single-lane Forest Service road that, you know, needs to be used for first responders going in to get the people that aren't really ready for that difficult of a hike. And, you know, I don't know if it's part of the ambassador program. We start teaching people this trail requires more than a water bottle and tennis shoes. And to try to cut down on some of the services that are needed for the search and rescue, getting people out of there that just really were not prepared for that difficult of a hike. So we sent support with the Sheriff's Department to send a letter to the Forest Service to say, hey, it's time for all of us to put our heads together and see if we can come up with some solutions, especially for that one trailhead where a lot of the search and rescue tends to, begin. And, you know, how do we get rescue vehicles in there? Those wide body vehicles that have to come in have a difficult time when the parking lot's full and the road is full as well. So granted, it's a Forest Service road and it's a Forest Service issue, but we end up footing the bill for these search and rescue operations that go in. And that's definitely a strain on the other taxpayers that don't necessarily use it or are prepared to be in our wild areas. So that was a letter that we just penned this morning so that we can send off and support.
Good evening, folks. Dan Coons filling in for Grant Olson, taking some well-deserved time off with your weather forecast, starting out, of course, with our Wenatchee Heights camera. And right there is about where I live. Malcolm lives right down there, and Tucker lives right up there somewhere. So now you know where 3 of the employees live here who work at solely on broadcasting. Very pleasant day today. Mother Nature had the air conditioning turned on, 10 degrees below normal, so it wasn't that bad outside. Our record high of 102, we're nowhere near that, but that 90-degree normal is about as high as that normal temperature gets, and we're losing about 2 minutes of daylight now. Sorry, but we are losing about 2 minutes of daylight now, but again, we can't stress this enough. We are well below where we should be for rainfall, 1.31 inches less than we should have by this year to date. We need the rain. There is no rain at all in the forecast. Tomorrow's highs, a couple of degrees warmer than today, and I'll tell you why here in just a little bit. 84 out in the basin, that includes Ephrata, Moses Lake, and Quincy. Maybe a degree or so warmer in the Wenatchee Valley. Ellensburg is still going to be dealing with some more wind tomorrow than we will, so they're going to be a couple of degrees cooler. Not a bad day to start sockeye fishing up at Lake Wenatchee. Get out early, of course. And Omak, always usually a degree or 2 warmer than the rest of us here in our viewing area. So that low pressure ridge that came through brought in that cold air and those breezy conditions. It's already beginning to exit, leaving our area as we speak, sliding out over to Montana. And the big weather maker is a non-weather maker. It's a big dome of high pressure that's right now down at the Four Corners area, but it's going to work its way up to the northwest, and that sucker is going to sit right near us and not go anywhere for a long time. Look at how we're going to start seeing all those red and maroon colors pop up on this map as we go through our 7-day forecast, because that ridge of high pressure, as it continues to slide up, is going to cook the entire West coast of the United States, there's been no relief at all. In Phoenix, something like 22 straight days of temperatures 110 or above. No relief there. We're not going to get to 110, but we'll certainly be into the 90s, and that's going to start probably on Friday, and it's not going to go anywhere. National Weather Service says this ridge, it's coming up from the northwest, from the southeast, working its way up to the northwest, is going to be slow, marauding, and it's just going to sit there and bake us all up. And you'll notice all these red and maroon colors, and that means just hot temperatures for everybody. No relief in sight. Lots of sunshine, very little wind. Obviously, fire conditions are going to be a significant concern because we're going to have that recipe that we don't like for fire: hot weather, low relative humidity. 80 today, not bad. Don't get used to it because it ain't coming back. 56 for the overnight low tonight. Then we start warming up a little bit. Little residual wind on Wednesday with a high of about 86, and then here comes the 90s starting on Thursday. Friday, a couple of degrees warmer, and we're just going to stick right around those low 90s. The only reason that the temperature is going to be just right around that because we're going to have slightly less daylight per day, and that means less radiant heat. But get ready for the warm stuff. It really gets cooking by the time we get to the weekend. That's your weather forecast. There's lots more to get to. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Castle Rock International is the Northwest premier real estate agency for large acreage properties, farms and ranch land, lodging and resorts, and other distinctive commercial real estate. Professional, knowledgeable, and discreet, Castle Rock International has the listings and the buyers you have been looking for. Contact John McNamara at Castle Rock International today, or visit their website for more information on this award-winning company.
I had had a seizure in the middle of the night, and they rushed me to the hospital and decided to induce labor to try to get the baby out. The outpouring of love and support I got from Confluence Health. My coworkers coming to the ICU to be with me. For me, it's the work family. It's just incredible to have support no matter what I'm going through in my personal life, my own health.
Well, the Mariners and Twins played last night in Minneapolis, and it was Minnesota getting the better of the Seattle Ball Club by a score of 4-3 in a walk-off fashion in the 10th inning. There's a lot of drama early with Cade Marlowe getting his first major league hit. Tom Murphy started the scoring of the ball game with a solo home run, and Colton Wong had a chance to be a hero in the 9th with a 2-run home run, but it wasn't to be.
And there it is, first big league hit for Cade Marlowe. A moment he'll remember, 24th of July, 7:05 Central Time here in 2023. Well done, young man. Get that baseball. 2-2. Murph to center field. Backs up Gallo. Running out of room. Looking out. It's gone! Tom Murphy. Home run number 7. 1-0 Mariners here in the 5th.
A high drive to right field. Back. And off the wall. Kepler with 2 outs. Off with the crack of the bat. He'll score. Larnach sprinting to third with a game-tying triple. Doink down the line. Fair by a foot. And the Twins take the lead. Vasquez will hold up there. And the Twins get a couple of big 2-out hits to take the lead here in the 5th.
Well, here's a hard hit. Base knock to right field. Here's a throw to third by Teo. Got a shot. They got him. Great throw by Teoscar Hernandez. Fly ball right field. Looking up. It's gone! Oh, baby! Colton won the pinch hit 2-run homer. And the Mariners have a 3-2 lead with 2 outs. Top of the 9th in Minnesota. Hey now! Colton won with his 2nd homer of the season. Wow!
Driven to right, a base hit. Kirilloff will score. Kepler to second base. And the Twins come back in the 9th again. Kepler's 3rd straight hit. Loop to right. And down for a hit. Correa walks off the Mariners. Salal scores the winning run. Back-to-back walk-off wins for the first place Minnesota Twins.
Andres Munoz blew the save in the 9th inning, and then Paul Sewald gave up the game-winning hit in the 9th to Carlos Correa, as the Mariners will try to do it again today. In fact, that game is already underway at the Twin Cities with Seattle and Minnesota, game 2 of 3 on the road. The only other American League West game last night had a lot of fireworks in a battle for first place between Houston and Texas, with the Astros walking it off in the 9th inning. The game was a wild one with 6 lead changes as the Astros walked it off in the 9th on Yanier Diaz's RBI single. Winning at 10-9, Houston pulled to within 2 games of the Rangers with the win. The Wenatchee Apple Sox look to continue a 6-game winning streak here at home tonight, right behind us at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium as they welcome the Bellingham Bells. Wenatchee comes into the game after sweeping aside Nanaimo and Bend and actually has a chance to lock up a playoff spot in the game tonight. Dan Kuntz had a chance to visit with Joel Norman to get a preview of the series and tonight's game here on the NCWLIFE channel.
6 in a row. We like that. Can they make it 7 in a row tonight? It is the Bellingham Bells in town to take on the Wenatchee Apple Sox. Again, it'll be right here on the NCWLIFE channel if you can't make it down to the ballpark. Joel Norman, voice of the Apple Sox, 6 in a row and putting up a lot of numbers, my friend. Scored a lot of runs, this team is.
Absolutely. Double-digit run efforts for the Apple Sox in 4 of the first 6 games of this homestand. Won 6 in a row, as you mentioned. 11 consecutive wins at home, which matches a franchise record. And this is a team that's coming to the ballpark every day expecting to win, and I think that's so fun as a fan. You go and you might wonder, how are the Apple Sox going to find a way to win tonight? Because this team has done it a lot of different ways, but as you mentioned, the most consistent way has been scoring a lot.
And we've lost some of our best players simply to take some baseball time off or go back home to get ready for the fall sports season. We haven't taken our foot off the gas. It doesn't seem to affect this team at all.
No, not at all. A couple guys are done for the season. Josh Williams, who finished 2nd on the team in home runs with 5. That's a tough loss, but you see these guys sometimes. You see signs they're getting a little tired, so it's good for them to get their rest. Toby Harr, who led the team in ERA and wins, he's going to be shut down a little bit as well. Just another one of those situations. Your pitch count gets up there, time to bring it back, and he was a guy who was with us from the start of the season. Obviously, we lost Easton Amundsen previously. We knew about that one, but Dan, as you mentioned, this team kind of has found ways to keep on moving despite that, and I think fans are going to be excited when they see a couple of guys who are gone for this next week but are going to be back in the playoffs when that time comes around. Mitch Darlington's doing such a great job of resting guys, giving them that chance to get away, and then saying, hey, come on back and let's go do something special in the playoffs.
And Mr. Strong is unfortunately also, he and his .333 batting average is also leaving, but for this team it's next man up, isn't it?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. I think the depth of this team has been the strength all year. Is you're going to see different starting lineups from a night-to-night basis, but you can make a case for each one of them for being one of the better ones the Sox can put out. So their depth continues to be the reason why this team keeps winning.
There's only 6 more home games left, home games, before the playoffs begin. Bellingham for 3, and then who's in town this weekend?
Edmonton Riverhawks.
Edmonton will be in town this weekend. So they're in the middle of a 12 games in 15 days, but the clock is kind of ticking, folks, to get down here to Paul Thomas Senior Stadium, and the fans have been a huge part of this 6-game league winning streak, hasn't it?
No doubt about that. This team in general, when we played at home, they've only lost 3 times in league play here, and I think it's because of the great fan support, and we're going to need that down the stretch here. This is the dog days in a lot of ways for some of the guys, but it's also when you can play in front of a packed house that really helps bring a little extra energy as we continue this playoff push. You mentioned it, Daniel. Our final regular season home game is already coming up this Sunday. It's so hard to say that already, but we're hoping to have plenty of home games in the playoffs when they start on August 8th.
And don't forget, you can meet the Apple Sox and get an autographed team poster today at the Pybus Public Market from 1 to 2. It's also Tuesdays. That means the special deals for tickets and drinks and stuff like that.
That's right. $2 off of all tickets, so you can get in for as affordable as $5 for tonight's game. And also you can take $2 off of hot dogs, hamburgers, and Coors Light at the game.
come to the ballpark. It's going to be on TV tonight, 6 o'clock or 6:30, I should say, with Eric and Schmitty on the call. But you really want to be here at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium to watch Apple Sox baseball taking on Bellingham tonight.
So as far as the playoffs are concerned, if the season were to end today, the Apple Sox would have the number 2 seed in the North following Bellingham. The Bells won the first half of the title, so that means they get the number 1 seed. The 3 and 4 seeds would be Victoria and Kelowna, so the first round playoffs would have Wenatchee meeting Victoria, with whom they've split the series so far this season, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens down the stretch. Now, as far as the South is concerned in the West Coast League, it is Ridgefield that won the first half title, Corvallis, and then you have Portland and Cowlitz. Those are the 4 teams right now, should the season end right now before we even play baseball tonight. Wenatchee catcher Carson Olin and Edmonton pitcher Dolan Harrison are the West Coast League Moss Adams Player and Pitcher of the Week. Olin scored 9 runs, knocked in 6, and reached base 14 times to help the Apple Sox win 6 games last week. In West Coast League play Monday, Charlie Updegrave's solo home run at the top of the 10th gave Springfield a 5-4 walk-off win over, well, not a walk-off, it was the top of the 10th, but they won it over Portland. The Drifters' Ryan Hayes also contributed with a grand slam home run. The other game that was to be a non-league contest between Victoria and Redmond was rained out in Victoria last night. Again, the up-to-date standings in the West Coast League's North Division of the second half has Wenatchee leading Victoria and Kelowna by 2 games. Bellingham comes into town tonight, trailing the Apple Sox by 5.5 games, 6 and 8 on the second half of the season. Corvallis has reeled off 12 wins in a row to take over first place in the WCL South Division at 13-2. Ridgefield and Cowlitz are both 3 games back at 10-5. So I'm Eric Granster with NCWLIFE Channel Sports. Have a happy Tuesday.
On Wednesday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, this guy, Stormman Joel Norman, will be joining me, who's had one heck of a year at press boxes all over the Pacific Northwest, watching the team that has right now the best record in the league.
What a fun team this has been to watch. And Dan, I'm so excited for this week. Final 6 games of the regular season at home before wrapping up the regular season on the road next week. Last chance for a lot of people to come out and watch this group. Entered this week 31-11, 20 games over 500. Come out and see this team.
This team has caught the imagination of the Sporting Valley. Joel will talk all about it on the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
And that is our newscast for this Tuesday, or as I call it, Oppenheimer Day. Thanks for being with us. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or on our website at NCWLIFE.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we want to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call, 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. I'm Jefferson Robbins. If I make it through Oppenheimer, I'll see you back here tomorrow night.